2026, May 11th. Welcome to our show. I'm your host, Jason Schwartz. This is the Neutral Zone, MauiNeutralZone.com. We have over 600 shows up there already, and not only that, but I think it's important to know every show has a full transcript from beginning to end and a summary of the show, and we have a search engine on the site. So if you said ice cream and it was said on a show 19 years ago, they'll both show up in the search engine. So if you're talking about housing or ED CODELIA, our new guest, or if you talk about real estate, or it all comes up and accumulates. So not only are we hosted by KAKU 88.5 FM, the voice of Maui, which is housed in Akaku Maui Community Media, which is channels 53, 4, and 5. We're on channel 55. It's right now on Maui Stream, which is an app of Akaku's that's up on the web. You can go to akaku.org and see the radio station there, and you can see the TV thing right there. Or if you have cable, it's channel 55. So all that stuff says, when you're done with this show, you're going to go to MauiNeutralZone.com and say, so what did he say? He said so much. What is going on? We need to contact and do what these guys are saying. We've been doing this, we means me, 30-something years ago, and in all this time, public access has been such a backbone of delivering information here locally by giving us a view of the council meetings, but it also has been a place for public to access and record their own stuff like this. I'm an independent guy. I'm here, but these shows are not Akaku. You see some of their shows. So when you see me doing everything is my opinions and the opinions of me, myself, and our staff. At the moment, our staff of one. I do the editing and the website, the whole thing. And we're a growing team, and we have a web developer, Jim Carey, 1R. He likes to say I'm the shorter, more handsome one. But he's a beautiful guy, been working in computers for years. And the website is now elaborate. When you go up there, you'll see that. So, MauiNeutralZone.com. Now, that was a big intro, but I have a guest here who's incredibly patient. He has a real estate career on Maui for more than 20 years, right?
More than 30.
More
36.
than 30. How could it be? He's a young boy. See this?
36 now.
36 years. That's Jason Schwartz, ED CODELIA.
Good morning.
Ed, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Now, we're in a political season, and you may see this guy showing up running for a federal position. Tell me a little about that area that you're...
So I will be on the ballot in August in the primary.
And speak up, just so we're good. Go ahead.
Well, I'll be on the ballot in August
Good.
For the primary. I'll be running for the Congressional District 2 seat, which covers Maui, Molokai, Lanai, Big Island, Kauai, and rural Oahu. Currently held by Jill Takuda. And, I'm putting my name out there and putting my name on the ballot.
I need you to be a little louder. Can you hear it good on the other side there, Tony? You can. We're good, I think. Okay. I have a loud voice. I just know you're very mild-mannered. But I also know you got a lot of fire. When I look at your Facebook page, I said, holy macaroni, this guy isn't fooling. When you run for a federal office, that isn't something you do blindly without experience in understanding and procedures and being open to learn. If you've been doing real estate here a long time, I also have been doing real estate. I've sort of been mostly passive, but you've been active. That's where I met you originally,
Yep.
And I told you the most memorable thing about you was your lady friend.
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys are still...
Well, we'll give her a plug. We'll say hi to Renee because I know she's watching. So.
Aloha. And for you to run, when you're doing a real estate career here means you can be successful over the years because the prices are high, and if you didn't keep working the system and you're in real estate, you become independent. Mm-hmm. So for someone independent and happy to decide to put their feet into a political race at this level, so I want to kind of let you lead, but what spurred this on, Ed?
Well, 2023, we had 2 fires up country where I live.
Yeah.
And I was in between the 2. My house was. And so we had the fire here and we had the fire here, and we were shut down.
A little bit closer, I'm sorry.
So I was in the fire.
Here, you go ahead, keep talking.
Right.
You were in the fire.
Yeah, so we were in the middle of the fire. We lost our water for 6 months. The house stayed okay. We were covered in embers. It was chaos. In addition to Lahaina, what happened there. So after that incident, I reached out to some of our representatives in the county council and mayor's office and kind of got told that they were too busy at that time. So I decided then that I would run for county council up country in 2024. So I was in the primary on the ballot. And, I learned a lot, participated as much as I could, started with $10 in my campaign spending account, ended with $10 in my campaign spending account, which for me, that was a pretty good deal. I didn't take any money. I didn't ask for any money, and participated, learned the system and continued to participate on a county level. And the more I spent working with the county and the state, I realized that it was more of a federal issue here, that the federal oversight was lacking. Disaster results from the federal dollars that came in weren't getting put in the right places, taking too long. I dealt with FEMA, Small Business Administration.
I'm going to stop you right there, because when I hear the word FEMA, I start to get crazy.
Yeah.
When they took all those people's places and we will give you premium dollars for your places.
Yeah.
And then suddenly the people that were housed here at already high rates were suddenly given
extremely, unbelievably high market rent.
How do you undo that stuff?
And it was approved by the governor of our state. He worked it out. To me, it was more of a bribe.
When you say approved by, what's the other choice? I also know if you don't say yes, you don't get funds, right?
Yeah, well, the whole system was handled, from my perspective, incorrectly. They brought in out-of-state property managers to deal with the properties that were getting...
Was there another choice?
Local. Could have went local.
Saying, so, like you say, the coordination between federal and
the governor went in and brought in FEMA's property managers that came from the mainland to manage the properties. They didn't hire any locals to do it, and so the local property managers weren't involved. So the rents...
Really?
Yeah, and they didn't bring anybody in. It was approved. The governor had the Hawaii Real Estate Commission approve these guys to come in and do that, because basically you have to be licensed in the state to do it. So these guys didn't really need the license to operate in the state. So there's a lot of backdoor stuff that went down to bring FEMA and their property managers in to get this market rent, this above market rent. So the people that were going into the FEMA program were not all fire victims. A lot of them, during the aftermath of the fires, they brought in a lot of homeless population and put them into the system as well. So when they talked about people being in the hotels that were defecating in rooms and destroying places, there was a certain amount of homeless people that were brought in that were not fire victims. And the Red Cross signed them.
And to be fair to the homeless and the houseless, it isn't only those guys, but you're saying that the
cluster
population
mess.
was they put all of it hodgepodge together, and a lot of the things happening there.
It was just a lot of money that got spread around to the wrong places, and it was not handled.
They never had a houseless and homeless program that was up to speed when we had a fire.
Right.
When we had problems, they were already 20 years in the toilet on their plan.
Yeah,
just pointed it out, and someone came in and said, "We're going to ramrod our way." And so they paid these huge rents. They didn't ask local. The governor. So I keep looking at the governor and the mayor. I don't know the governor, except very nice man, and the whole time I've known him. And he seems open, and I keep thinking he'll listen. Some people might say he wouldn't listen and give me reasons. But But here on the state level, wouldn't a judge who hears from a state or hears from a federal, when his whole life he's been following a system, he's going to follow the system. So whether it's the right plan or not, that's kind of what he's
taught to do.
Right?
He follows the system. Right.
So when you were calling, what could be more important than you, victim of the problem of country?
Yeah, when I'm told that they're too busy to talk to me as somebody who,
that's ridiculous.
To me, that's like the end, right? Okay, you don't want to talk to me now. You might have to talk to me down the line.
You'll talk to my attorney.
Well, no, I put my name on the ballot, and then you'll listen to what I have to say.
Maybe. Like I ran myself many years ago. You guys know that. And then I ran a couple of elections ago. And I'm like you. I put $1 in and $1 out. I put a few of my own dollars, but I wasn't asking for money. Right. I hope that thing gets signed by the governor about no monies from corporations.
Yeah, the campaign.
What are the chances? Yeah. Hopefully that would be the first state in the nation.
Yeah.
That would be something.
Yeah. They need to really change the difference between the state and the local and the federal is federal, you can only take donations from people. No business, no PACs. You can't take that money. That's a violation of the campaign spending. So locally, you can take it from businesses, you can take it from PACs, you can take it from whatever, right? So there's not a lot of accountability. That's why you see these commercials, like when Bill 9 was going through and this mainland corporations were throwing money at the advertising telling us they got to shut it down, it's not going to be good for us. So, that's a situation that has to be addressed, and that bill, if he signed it, would help address that. But that's a big difference.
That's a really controversial issue, which we could address here. But I know that I've seen studies that, there's a gal running for mayor. She was on last week. Her name is P.
PD.
You know her, P.
Yeah, I know
Denise
Yes.
LaCosta.
You brought her in?
She was last week's guest.
Oh, okay. I'll have to go look that up. I didn't see that one.
And she's against Bill 9 because the units that are in question really aren't family units. The price is already high, and like we talk about, how do you roll back absurd prices already? And all the people that bought under one condition are now going to be told different. So there's going to be lawsuits. It's going to be a
the lawsuits are filed. The result of the Bill 9 is that condo values have come down. And they've started. If you've seen the latest statistics from RAM, condos sales have gone up, prices have come down, so that market has gotten more active. The housing market has slowed a little bit. Prices have come down a little bit, but that's nothing.
But it all got here because of
Bill 9 had an impact.
And even before that, we were driven by the fact that people justified rents based on how much they pay for a property. Mm-hmm. How the heck can you do that with people that don't make enough money?
Well, we could go back to the pandemic. We had people coming.
Further.
We had people coming here sight unseen, taking up rentals and buying properties, sight unseen during the pandemic. The only people allowed to operate during the shutdown were realtors and a couple delivery drivers, delivery companies, things like that. But they allowed the realtors to operate, which means they could go show a unit that was for sale or for rent. So they kept that trade moving.
Also really pumped this market.
Yeah, kept it. I don't know if you remember the pandemic, but a lot of out-of-state license plates showed up, during that time. But the thing I remember the most about the pandemic was less people, greener island, nicer beaches. The reef started to come back to life, and everything started to change here. And then you look after the pandemic, when they brought everybody back full speed, a few months in, we have a fire, 2 fires. To me, it all ties together. And from a federal perspective, the oversight of the dollars that come in is minimal. They send the dollars here. We get the press release. I just got $40 million for Maui to do this. But where's the follow-up? Where's the oversight? A lot of people I talk to don't see any of that, don't see any benefit from the money that comes in. So that's one of the reasons that I went after the federal position is we've got to kind of audit this, where the money's going,
Yeah, you probably over the years know Dick Mayer.
I know Dick.
With statistics, he's a statistical guy.
Right.
I don't know why I thought of him. I guess because I think of him as a guy that has, through the years in his political background and his openness, has gotten a lot of respect on this island. I'd like to see some conversations around where monies could be spent differently or how the accounting can be tracked openly. In this new day and age, with all the potential, some people like AI, some people don't think it's evil. I don't know how we're going to stop it.
You can't.
And I don't think there's any reason to not use it wisely.
It'll be $1 trillion industry shortly.
And it is something that if you don't know how to use, you're going to be like the person that said, I want my flip phone. I don't want to switch to those new things.
I still have a flip phone. I don't carry it with me, but I still have one, right? And there's nothing wrong with it.
Works?
Yeah, it still works. Yeah. In case of emergency, some of that technology is better than what we have.
Well, again, in case of emergency.
Right.
But, I remember the megaphone. Mm-hmm. That's how it feels when I think about it.
I remember when they put cones on Haleakala Highway going up and down.
Oh, boy. You see, you're old like
right?
me.
Remember Tom Morrow on a horse on the side of the road?
Tom Morrow, wait.
Yeah. I mean, those are the days, right? And the other thing is those guys, what was their primary goal running for office? We're not going to become another Oahu. It's too late now. We are just as bad as Oahu. We may not have the full population, but we got the same problems almost on the same levels. The homeless population is...
What do you think we could do with those people? Because as I say, those people, when you have a place here for years and things, the homeless population become more of an annoyance for most people. But I've seen people that are homeless that, especially now, that have gotten that way. Do you know Nui? Do you know MauiNeutralZone Farms up in Kula?
Yeah.
Nui, I've been up there looking. When that fire happened, she had a problem above, and then there was a second fire up there, and it burned her house, and they ran down her bamboo forest, destroyed her property, insurance technicality, didn't pay, all kinds of stuff. Yeah. County owes her money right now that she needs critically. What is that? How do we figure this? I'm bringing it up only because there's so many people that need help. What would you do now? I mean, what would Jill Takuda do?
What she should do is she should be here, right, in front of these people that are in charge of this and asking them why it's not done. And if they're not going to answer her, put them up in front of a camera and make them answer. She has the power to do that. Anybody that touches a federal dollar has to answer for it. And if it's not being spent appropriately and you're not getting the results you want, then that money either goes someplace else or they're on a hook somewhere. I mean, it's fairly simple. It's a little complicated, but it is overall fairly simple. People have to be held accountable for the money that comes in from the federal government. Well, Same with the county. The county's given $1.6 billion budget, and they're giving all this money to nonprofits, and we're supposed to see results, but everything gets worse.
Or like we see, homelessness becomes an industry
that you can't. Yeah.
Your things up there. I'm going to give you guys a little run. I'm having fun here. Business of homeless in Hawaii. $170 to $240 million spent every year on homelessness. It's unbelievable. And they give you all these counts and how the money is spent. And then there's a whole industry created.
Just for that.
I don't really know what to say because I like delivering.
I like to see it eradicated to a certain level.
If we can put up people in other countries and house them and give them facility, why can't we even do that here? Is there a reason? Isn't that an emergency?
This is an emergency.
So if you have federal dollars, why can't that happen? Why couldn't that happen?
The federal money has to go to look, they're building homeless hollies, right, for these people, but the money that's coming in is going to other things. So they may complete the project of the homeless holly, but a lot of guys are taking money out of it.
Not only that, how many years does it take to put a homeless holly? We know how to put up big tents and have thousands and thousands of people run through.
Yeah.
Why can't this be done? And the reason is no one is willing to be the leader. And those that are in leadership, I think, are incredibly overwhelmed. $1.6 billion doesn't go as far. Where is it going? Like, how about speed bumps throughout Haiku? There we go.
They didn't like that, did they? They didn't. The Haiku folks didn't like that. They complained enough to get it stopped. But I mean, that's the least of our problems. That's nothing. We have bigger problems on Maui, and instead of putting money to things that really aren't going to help, we need to focus. For the county, they just need to focus on their services, right? The water, police, fire and safety, all of those things are county priorities. Water is the biggest issue. Water, to me, I lost my water for 6 months after the fire. I was told by my insurance company, FEMA, your house is uninhabitable. Go live in one of the rentals that we have. So now my house is still standing. Why am I going to go into a rental and take it away from somebody who actually lost everything? So that makes no sense, right? So, and then when you talk to the county, they're like, if you got a drip of water, you still got to pay your bill. That's the response that we got after the fire from the water department. So the county's priorities, to me, when it comes to money, and if you watch the budget, it's a shell game. You know the shell game, right? So where's the ball under the shell? They go here, they go here, they go here. This is where all the money's going, and then you're trying to figure it out. It's like, and then they'll move it. They had $174 million that were carryover from last year, from the budget last year. So they don't. I don't want to attack anybody personally.
Well, but you don't have to. You just put out a line that is worthy of attention. If you have $174 million
carryovers, yeah.
What are you carrying when people have needs?
Yeah. What have you and what do you look? Well, what have they accomplished?
Well,
look at your island from when you got here.
What's our biggest problem? Salaries. Salaries keep going up. People don't want to pay for that.
Bloated
how do we get the money? You put it, well, it's raise the taxes here.
It's all white collar now. The county used to be blue collar. Now it's all
shifted.
White collar. Yeah,
that's why we talk about creating industries. And now those people become entrenched in a whole lifestyle. I've been here 37 years. I must tell you, we're a third world country in the way we approach stuff. It's Peter Gunn. Who's that?
Somebody watching?
Someone calling me in the middle. I don't know.
Take it easy.
Yeah, that's right. If you want to call in, by the way, you can. 808-873-3435. Tony will get all the... If it rings, Tony, I'm giving you the phone. Tony, by the way, is Brother Tony Midnight. He has a show here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 1 o'clock. And he's a wonderful guy, and he runs this place. He's the boss. Anyway, homeless and houseless, big
business. Big business.
Statewide money flow. So you're really talking about taking charge at an upper level.
From where it comes from. Yeah, we take a lot of money from the federal government. We get more money than we give to the federal government, right? So we need to, the people I know, they want it to be accounted for. After the fires, people are like, where did this money go? All this money that came in, where did it go? I don't see anything. We still can't get our permit. We still can't rebuild. The commercial aspect in Lahaina is just a disaster right now. They're not able to rebuild. They're going to just drag this out. There's some conspiracy theories about what's happening, but they just sold the mill for
$20 million.
$20 million for a mill. Who's
buying that?
It's a local hui. That's what I've been told. It's a local hui bought in. And what's the plan? It's all industrial zone, my understanding, except there's a street back there where 40-plus people died in that street, right? It was a very narrow street, small lots, long-time families, long time, been there a long time. I met a lot of them as a result of the fires. They were told by the county they were not going to be able to rebuild there. They couldn't do it because the street was too small. So the county was proposing a flip. They were going to give them a swap, but that never materialized as to any factual piece of property for them to get into. And now this thing is sold. So, it's still, I feel really bad for where we're at, for all of these
just
people.
Bring that example up about that. It's almost like out from under their feet. That reminds me of what happened up there in Kula.
Mm-hmm.
With Nui has a farm there, 40-acre farm for 25 years already, right? And now A and B sold a 100-acre parcel, including that, when they told her she could buy that parcel. And now it's like taking rug out from under her. Insurance company doesn't pay. She has no way to destroying lives through the way they're so.
Look at.
They think they're doing it. I guess. How could they not? How could they not understand what they're doing that badly?
You know, do you think that they don't understand? I mean, that's a question for that's an integrity question.
That's the question.
Right.
And well, so who made those agreements, the verbal agreements, and then break them, and now put someone in a position to have to fight for their lives?
Look at the condo that fell in the ocean.
In Lahaina?
No, look at the condo that fell from the Kona storm.
Deal.
They were in permitting, trying to enforce their building to get it fixed, to strengthen it.
And couldn't get
it through. Just dragged it on, and now that building is condemned and gone. It's going to have to be removed, and now these people have nothing. And what is their insurance going to cover? And that's going to cause more insurance issues. And the insurance issues alone is another situation that has to be dealt with.
Yeah.
Insurance has gone since the fires out of the, through the roof. We're lucky the insurance companies are still here.
Abandon us.
Yeah, because Aniki, they abandoned. They blew out after Aniki. And Kauai, they took off. They just started
Did they come
folding.
back?
Some of them did. Not all of them. Some of them went under. But if you remember, after Aniki, insurance companies just disappeared.
Yeah.
So that's why Kauai still hasn't completely recovered from Aniki. There's still areas that still need to be addressed over there. So, all of this time passes and passes and passes. And does it get better? Does it get is it a better place for people to live when people are just like, I'm leaving? Better opportunities on the mainland. More money, cheaper housing, they're gone. Can you blame them? What are we giving them?
And what about the people that are here? See, I'm
here.
No,
I contemplated it big time. I thought.
Well, I'm thinking of all the people that live here that they see what's going on in the world. How are we going to keep them down on the farm? Well, first of all, can they afford to still live here? That's getting really out of control.
Yeah. Diversification, they talk about, it's funny, we're in the political season, it's all diversification, self-sustainability, all these things you hear, but are we actually trying to accomplish those things? Because we're not self-sustained. We rely on shipping, we rely on heirs, that's it. Molokai can't even get their people over here for medical appointments. So what are we actually doing? What are we accomplishing? People have to answer for this. As far as I'm concerned, they have to answer. If we need more money in the state from the federal government, then we have to go get it, and we have to figure out how to get it. There are things that we can, talk about that can be created. We can carve out for Hawaii, the only island state in the middle of the ocean, and we're treated like California, Nevada, everybody else. We're classified as the same state, right? So all the formulas that apply there apply here.
Oh, and you see the numbers on what loans. You know the deal.
Yeah. You know the HUD deal. You know the HUD housing. You know the
how absurd
FHA loan limits, the Fannie Mae, and the prices keep going up. But you can't get a loan, right? That's $1 million loan now. That's what we're talking about for some of these programs. I mean, to me, it's insane.
How many people that live here can afford to buy $1 million home?
Not many.
How are we going to be able to sustain and keep a local community?
Yeah.
That's where we're at.
Yeah, that's where we're at. And we have housing. We don't have infrastructure. We don't have water, but we have housing.
Well, and water can be created from the air. Water can be created from the sea.
But we don't store it.
Well,
we don't have.
There are so many technologies now that we people are going to discover MauiNeutralZone. We've had people on here who'll give you answers to all those things we just mentioned right now. And do you know that after the fire, do you know Eddie Garcia?
I know the name.
Ed Garcia has a farm on the west side of Maui and does training of people. There was like $60,000 spent at a proposal about how to redo Lahaina and the whole thing, and it wasn't even reviewed by the people in the council. They gave him 3 minutes, never read the thing. Mm-hmm. Bottom line, there are solutions. There are ways to take the ways to so many. We had them on our show. I can't almost help but say it's either blinders or a liability. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd like somebody to be there that.
It's
I don't call it a special prosecutor. That really sounds dastardly.
Yeah, there are federal offices.
I'm sure.
No, there are federal offices that can come in, and once you get to a federal level, it seems that people pay more attention. It's like with corruption and things like that. When the feds get involved, then things happen. But when you're on a state level or a county, things don't really seem to move along. I mean, if you look at the mayor's situation now with the lawsuit,
yeah,
and from his chief of staff or whatever he was, it's kind of just sitting. It's probably, in my opinion, going to fade. They filed the wrong paperwork when they filed the action. They haven't redone the paperwork. So it's just it's local. You know what I mean? It's a local situation that I think the guy will maybe collect some funds. Who knows? But it's not going to accomplish anything. The governor, lieutenant governor with her checks. Then you still got this outstanding brown bag of $35,000 that the attorney general's investigating.
That one really
and
surprised
we're
me.
still
That sounds like a
dragging on.
Kalani and that Ty Cullen
And it all goes
deal.
back to Kalani. Yeah. That's insane.
But, yeah, it is insane.
It's insane, right? This is the government that, we rely on, that we put into
But who
office.
are we having people and companies around with brown bags with money?
This brown,
it's
you
two
remember the
sides.
old show, Brown Bags to Stardom?
Sure.
Well, there you go. That's how you get there. Brown bags to stardom. I don't know, Jason.
No,
To
I know,
me-
but it's, these things, what we're talking about, you guys are probably appreciating. These are not only local issues, but it's sort of funny when they happen here. They feel super personal,
Yeah.
and they are super. What it was amplified
Yep.
because we are in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah. And we are technically a small state.
So my thing has always been, I'm not clear how people know, but DreamMaui.com, this vision of mine is self-sustainability, but I'm also not talking about little things. I'm talking about systemic, taking my real estate commissions, throwing them back into art and music shows, creating more activity, having money come back and circulating and doing things. The money we give to the government, we can give and create things. How much is enough for personal accumulation? When do we start thinking about, as a community, making our community function and self-sustainable? We could be self-sustainable with food. We sure are way off balance now.
Way off. It's
And
too
the
hard
prices
for
are
farmers.
crazy.
Yeah.
They grow stuff here, ship it off because they can get money
Get
for
more
it.
money for it. To ship things in, like farm equipment, is super. And so the small farmer is going to struggle because he's got to pay top dollar,
Yep.
if not more, to get the labor, the equipment, what he
Right.
needs to produce. So he's got to charge what he's got to charge to offset his overhead. So we're kind of,
We are between a rock and a hard place. That's why trade and services and things that we can create. Some people call it an alternative economy. I don't know if there is any alternative.
Yeah,
than
we're
doing
reaching that
it, and
place.
We have to do something.
I just think what's going to happen to this state in 50 years or 100 years, what are we going to be looking like, right? What is it going to look like?
And how many front streets are not going to be there?
South
How about-
Kihei Road will be gone by then.
Down at the end of Wellakaha, when I see Halama Street and I realize how it was a little while ago, and then it turned into the new $1 million row.
Yeah, right.
And money comes in, changes communities,
Yeah.
big things, and
It's a
really.
second home, investor.
And the poor local people. So I can see where Bill 9 is like, hey, we want it back. But how do you do that when someone just came in with this and you're going to change it?
Yeah, my advice to PD would be to back off on Bill 9, let it play out, let the courts deal with it however it goes, and let that handle. Because all it does is really just create division. It created division when it was proposed. It created division during the process. And if you keep bringing the division up, you're really not bringing anything together. You're still keeping two sides against each other. So you want to bring people together to focus on the good and to get results. But if you keep one side here and one side here, and you're going to cater to this one side now, while the other ones will cater into the other side, it really accomplishes nothing. And
I'm with you.
Yeah.
And I still go back, reeling my thing back to the emergency housing. We need housing, we need education, we need services. And the people that are getting the...
But we don't have that here.
No, I don't. But we have people that are getting rehoused that can also, as a community, feel like we're working together, so we live together better. We don't have to feel like isolated little... That's what it
Third
seems.
world. Well, it's, and I know you like the governor, and I know...
No, I like him as a person.
He
When
treats a lot of this state as a third world nation. That's the way I see his approach to some of this, is he considers us third world. And I don't agree with a lot of...
I don't know what that means.
Well, let's say, Doctors Without Borders?
Yeah?
Yeah, they go into the third world countries and they do housing and create water systems. That's kind of how he treats the state, in my opinion. He's got the big programs. He's got the rail. He's got the Aloha Stadium redevelopment that he's going to turn into this entertainment mecca over there, and all that money that goes in. But all of us that live here full-time, that do blue-collar work, plumbers, electricians, hotel workers, delivery companies, we're just struggling every month to make it. They could say, oh, realtors are making bank and we're doing this. Really, we're not.
Well, some are and some aren't.
And,
sure.
They're really not. Sales are down, right?
Yeah.
So you got to hustle again, and it's going into that market where you're really going to have to hustle. And ultimately, the prices will always remain high because the demand is always going to be high. It's a global... I remember we couldn't give things away. We could not. We couldn't... It was seasonal, right? So we had tourists come in the winter and the locals buy in the summer, or relocate, switch up, move up, whatever. But now it's just year-round, right? So it's global. The internet helps, syndication of real estate. You get people that from all across the world that want to still buy here, and they should. I mean, it's a beautiful place. But for the local families, what do we have? If I can get my 3-bedroom, 2-bath house and sell it for $1.2 million because my neighbor just did, I'm going to do it. And we're not going to say, I'm going to sell it for less just so I want to help out. I'm going to get the most.
And then you got to figure out where you're going to live.
Yeah, and a lot of them are going to go. Right. They're not going to stay. They're going to take their money and go. I just helped a family. They had to relocate because they couldn't get medical help for the husband. They're an older couple. The husband had some medical issues, nothing here for him. Nobody could service him safely. I mean, that's the other issue, that one of the reasons I put my name on this ballot is this whole medical situation here, this rural medical health thing, treating us as, again, a third world situation. We don't have the doctors. We don't have the staffing. Why don't we have that? We pay pretty well. How come they're not coming here to work? How come our locals... I know one girl that just graduated medical school, and she's going to do a residency at Kapilani. That's the only girl in how long I've been here that's become a doctor that I know. One out of I don't know how many people. So we need to focus on getting people into medical school and into these, these fields. I mean, it's, to me, and from a federal perspective, if Hawaii needs more money, then we have to go figure out how to get them more money. I hate to see them reliant on federal dollars. But if they can't figure out how to be self-sustainable and create their own economy and generate wealth here, then they need help from the federal government. Then, as a congressman, my role will be to figure out how to get them more money and make sure it's accounted for.
If there is money to give us.
You know what? There's always money. There's always money. They can say, the government shut down for two in the last 8 months, 2 times they shut down. Money's still flowing. There's always money. They can say they don't have it, it's got to go here. There's always money. They just have to be honest about it and make sure we get it. And my priority, I don't give a crap about America and what happens over there, quite frankly. I understand we got a war in Iran and all of these other things, but my concern is this place. We are so remote that this is like all there is. All we have is each other and this land. There's nothing. We don't have a bridge. We can't drive to California when we have an emergency. What do we do when there's a tsunami? We drive up the hill. We drive up to Wailuku Heights. What is that? Is that really what we're going to do every time these kind of things happen? We need to focus on taking care of this place a little bit better. And from a federal perspective, I think we can generate more money here, if necessary, or we got to make it accountable. Where is it going? And that's kind of what my plan is, to figure it out.
Have you been around that kind of a group of people? Have you gone to Washington to see where you'd be?
I haven't really left the island a lot lately, but I used to go quite a bit. Family's on the East Coast.
Oh.
So I spent time in a caucus office and a noise office and would meet them when I went into the D.C. area. So I did go and go through all of that. And I grew up a little bit over there as well, so I'm pretty familiar with it, the system and whatnot. So it doesn't intimidate me. And I'm not intimidated by the fact that they say they don't have any money. This state needs to be represented a lot better in D.C. We cannot look at this the way we've been looking at it.
So you feel that you would have the power? I mean, I
got a mouth.
No, I
and
understand.
that's basically all they do is run their mouths.
Well, but again, I remember Chris Halford here years ago.
I remember the name.
In TA. Again, we haven't talked about parties. I don't talk about that stuff.
I don't have any.
So I'm saying, but by me. So I'm thinking to myself, he used to say, well, he was in the State House. There are only three of us Republicans, and we can't even get our issues on the floor. Mm-hmm. So I'm just saying, as someone going to Washington and having to come in as a low
guy, lead on the bottom.
So there's all kinds of things to learn. And
you got to go on the committees.
It's going to be interesting to see how much you can rattle the saber and how much it'll...
Yeah, well, I've got legislation that I've been working on since I put this idea into my head. So I've, planned out some things. I'll put them on the table, and I'll go door to door, whatever.
Are you easily accessible? Can people find you easy?
Find them easy like today.
Do you have an email address that you put out or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, Codelia for Congress on Facebook. I mean, right now it's a social media thing, but my Codelia 2026 at gmail.com is my other email address.
Send that to me and I'll post it on the screen.
Okay.
Send it to me.
Okay.
Good. There's so many issues that we can't even begin to cover.
Yeah, it's a lot.
But that's okay. I can see your passion is there.
Yeah, passion and sanity. I don't know what people call it.
And I imagine people want to get up close and personal. I mean,
anytime.
I think that's really good.
Yeah.
We never know what I want to say where and how in a political season you can be seen. You go to all these forums, and you get maybe 3 minutes, if you're lucky, or 5 minutes. They ask you a couple of questions. What kind of ice cream do you like? What do you think of the roads? It's like, okay, now we're supposed to make a decision based on that?
Yeah. It's
That's why I started doing these interviews.
Yeah.
Now this is the 16th or 17th. God. Election season, I've been talking to people.
Yeah.
But I'm not the House. I'm not Akaku.
Right.
I'm me. And I've just enjoyed it because, number one, I can speak to anyone from cold. Is really.
Well, you see the same people coming recycling through this whole process. That's the other thing. You don't see any new blood. I mean, P. Denise is new, right? So if I'm running for mayor, she's taking a shot at that. So
that's when you say long shot. 8 people trying to get through. When
8, I know, right?
Bisson has a war chest.
And so does Yuki. Yuki has a war chest, too.
So here are these people trying to... It's like the little David and Goliath story.
Same with me. And Takuta's got a huge war chest. I'm sure she'll start popping. And then the other guy that's going to show up from the Republicans is Brent Noah, who's in the state legislature now. And he's got Lingle holding $5,000 a plate fundraisers for him. Linda Lingle, the former governor and mayor from Maui. Yeah? So it's all good. I'm ready for it. Just get me on the ballot in August.
$5,000
a plate. Yeah, the Republicans got money. Come on.
Ouch. Ouch. Ouch.
Yeah.
That one really hurt.
Yeah, well, and
I'm sure the Democrats do. Everyone tries it.
Yeah, they don't.
Think of I keep looking at all that money. If you can't give it there, what would happen if it went into social programs? If it went into creating housing, if it went into getting more people in the permit department, and
right.
if it get more people into the things that we need
The
to
water
do
to
move the thing,
sewer,
be able to
look at the
handle
Waikapu.
DHS, get people their food stamps. You call it 1:30 on Thursday. People are on there getting bleary-eyed for days trying to get their
and a lot of
food
them are on their
stamp.
phones. I mean, look.
Oh.
You know, it's a job. You do your job, take pride in your job, and help the people that you're supposed to help.
And when I speak to people, they don't have a problem with the workers. They have a problem that there are not enough workers.
Yeah.
But you can't hire enough workers if you don't pay enough money, if you don't have the money to pay them.
Well, that's the other problem,
So here,
right?
see what we're talking about? It all comes down to...
The wage is never kept up, and that's part of the problem here.
And it is just never gonna.
Well,
historically, that's what
how do you get the wages back to where they are? I mean, the minimum wage here in Hawaii may have to go up more. Right?
No question.
And it may be separate from what the federal minimum wage is because our cost of living is the highest. So
and we're lagging behind
If
everything.
the cost of living is the highest here, why aren't the unions paying cost of living adjustments to their members? They take their weight.
Because it's hard to. We say for the owners also, it's hard to be able to afford to do all the things you do here, and you charge a bundle, and people are starting to say, "Wait, Maui's so expensive. We don't want to go to Maui. Look, these guys, they have a fire. They don't know how to get out of their way. They're doing it. The people are trying the very best they can. They're trying. Local people are beautiful and resilient, but enough is enough."
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I hope that you have some successes with all that you're doing. I hope you get your name and your ideas out there.
I hope so.
I know this is hopefully a help people will.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean,
Facebook?
I hate to sound like I'm complaining about things.
Why not? Everybody would like this.
Yeah,
It's just a matter of what we choose.
It's a matter of change, right? It's a matter of accountability. It's a matter of just taking responsibility for what we have here. And I just think the trajectory of Maui is not this, it's this, right? And it's kind of like this now circling.
It is circling.
Yeah. So we have to make that stop. We have to make, and it's not just Maui from my perspective. The Big Island's going through a lot. Kauai goes through the same stuff. They all have these issues that can be addressed. I mean, rural Oahu has other issues, major crime issues, gang issues. There's a lot of things that are going on, that have to be addressed from a federal level. And I think that our rep hasn't done right. I didn't even know she was in office until after the fires when she showed up here crying, saying she was going to rep and help us. So, I hope people don't feel that way about me. If I was to get elected, I'd like to be here and make sure that all of this is accounted for. I mean, accountability is the biggest issue for me, and transparency. Where is that money? I know that we got a lot of money for emergency from the disasters, from the fire that got donated, and still don't see the results of that. The county controls it, the state controls it.
Well, that's why I go back to the biggest problem is the labor costs are crazy. Because you get a lot of money and you end up getting a lot of people and a lot of money thrown around.
Yeah, a lot of money. I mean, that's what the mayor's situation was. He was paying out emergency dollars to people that didn't even exist, apparently. And I know some examples of people making $10,000 a week after the fire on contract basis with the county. $10,000 a week after the people lost their houses. $10,000 a week. That's $40,000 a month.
I'm hearing it.
It's not acceptable. Not acceptable. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I really like those things you posted online. You guys, give me the Facebook thing again. It's
Codelia for Congress.
CODELIA. Codelia for
Congress.
FOR.
Yeah.
Congress.
Yeah, right there on Facebook. Yeah.
Okay,
easy.
and ways to contact you there. All these things and vendettas, all this excitement.
Yeah,
For
right.
an
This
old
is
guy
an
like
interesting election cycle with all those things with the lieutenant governor and the mayor's lawsuit.
By the way, I like Keith Reagan. I think he's a good guy.
I think I heard some rumors he might take a shot at running for mayor.
I don't think so.
I hope not.
Well,
I don't think he's going to run for lieutenant governor, though. I think he's going to step back and they're going to let Kawakami play in and see what happens with the guy from Kauai.
Well, I'm sure. I know one thing that Keith Reagan just seemed to be, when I spoke to him, I felt just like yourself. straight shooting. He was also an accounting guy.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah.
so that's what made me think about him.
Yeah.
I liked him. I really always respected what he did, and boy, Alan Arakawa's had a real mixed group of people in his.
Yeah. They all do.
Good and bad. Yeah.
Yeah, they all get a mix. I mean, most of them, not Keith, but a lot of them bring in their friends and relatives, and sometimes it'll get you in trouble, if you don't pay attention.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm not complaining about any of these folks. I'm sure their true intent is to do what's best for their community, but I just don't see those results that we deserve, especially when you think about the money that we get. From the budget perspective, just on a county level and then on a state level. And then you look at the federal dollars that come in on top of everything, and where are we?
It's tough. After doing this interview stuff for a long time, I hear the same kind of things that could well be true, like Joe Suki. Joe Suki, people around the world may not know Joe Suki. He was the Speaker of the House and Speaker Emeritus from Maui. They always said, Joe's going to bring home the bacon. That means he knew how to put his arm out and say, we need things for Maui. And he found, and he told me, it isn't easy to get agreement from all these different people.
Yeah.
Just like in Congress, where we're seeing it now. So we know that the greatest laid plans of mice and men can be sidetracked, which is why I want to keep working on the self-sustainability angle here.
We should be more self-sustainable.
We have some very wealthy people who could, get more money by helping in different ways here that I hope to encourage through showing them it's profitable and getting the local people to understand a different kind of way of doing things.
I mean,
anyway,
look at the recycling industry we have here. We take our cans and bottles down to the recycle place, and where do they send it? To the mainland. So we get our 5 cents, but we don't recycle anything. It doesn't make sense. I know recycling is a small little issue, but recycling our goods here, we have to figure out how to do that so we don't waste money shipping things away.
What areas are most important for me? One is recycling our green waste and turning it into energy to desalinate water, to use pyrolysis, pulling out phytoceuticals, making our plants grow bigger and healthier, and leading the world, be able to feed everyone, and the people that are doing work in trade for credit. That's how you make things local. You create credits that could be used locally, and we can be self-sustaining on lots of things that right now take dollars. All the produce, that's going to get back all our local farmers. People will we're out here in the middle of nowhere. I don't see heavy
I don't know why the
industry
high school
coming
kids
here.
don't go and work on farms occasionally in the summer, get some kind of internship.
Because there are no programs going on.
Some kind of
There are
internship
some, but
program that they can get into so they can learn how to farm and work the farm.
You may or may not, Phyllis Robinson and the group that they train farmers now, small farmers. There's all kinds of programs. They're always looking and hurting for money and places to do it. So our future here can be very great if we
focus on what's right
and focus on what is, and not somehow like Lahaina. They're building a future city without trying to see what is here, and the local people are. You can see the frustration is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Nick, do you know John Kinamaka? You may or may not.
No.
After the fire, he was one of the key guys in coordinating the help on the west side. And he's going to be our guest. He also, his family plays music. And he's a Hawaiian, many people say, an activist. I'm an activist. You're an activist.
I don't know if I'm an
powerful.
activist.
Well, you are. You're running for office. That's active. This is not a sit on the couch kind of deal.
Yeah.
You are out and sharing and speaking and talking, and hopefully the public will reach back, because this is a two-way street, people. You better know that. This is a season you're going to see a lot of people come in front of you. Get up close and personal. To have someone like Ed spend an hour with me, Thank you for giving us
Thank
a
you.
little snapshot of who you are.
Thank you for having me on. I really appreciate it. I don't get much publicity, so.
Well, there's be more and more, and
Yeah.
I literally, whoever wants to, if it's someone that's running against you, we're a neutral zone.
Please bring Jill Takuda on.
Well, I'll ask. But I also mean, if you have things you want to bring up, and bring them on in, send them on in. All
I
that,
will. Yeah.
totally welcome.
All right,
You're
cool.
always welcome, whether it's on camera, on screen. I'm a guy that says, let's keep building this thing together. All the answers are here. I know that.
Yeah.
And I'm going to continue. We only have a minute and a half left. I'm going to do a shameless plug. Can I do a shameless plug?
It's your show.
Oh, that's, ooh.
Remember, it's your
I'm
show.
just the pawn in the wheel here. This Thursday, May 14th, at Pro Arts Maui in Kihei, our little theater in Kihei, Cheryl Renee, who's a terrific singer. Cheryl Renee has done like 17 or 18 shows, a tribute to Luther Vandross, a tribute to, and she is a knockout singer, been singing for years and years and years from the mainland. Well, she invited me to be a guest singer. I'm going to be a guest singer at the Cheryl Renee Show on Thursday night at Pro Arts Playhouse in Maui, Thursday, 7:30. ProArtsMaui.org is how you find tickets. I bet there are a few tickets left. We only have 45 seconds. Ed, it's been wonderful. District 2.
District
Tell
2.
us where they are quickly, if you can. Where's District 2?
Maui, Molokai, Lanai, Big Island, Kauai, and rural Oahu.
Wow, big district.
Big
A lot
district.
of work for you.
A lot of work.
Thank you for coming here. Please stay in touch.
Thank
we
you
have
for having me.
all kinds
And
of things.
I'm a nonpartisan. I have no party, no Republican, no Democrats, nonpartisan. So August in the primary. If you do want to vote, and you do vote in the primary, vote nonpartisan.
We got 12 seconds. 10. We are gone. Thank you all for joining us. Thank you, Ed. Been a pleasure having you here.
Same here.
Well, everyone, hope to see you next week. And I'm going to get out of here. Hang on a second. We're going to be leaving right now.